For more on the shutdown showdown on Capitol Hill, Brian Reidl joining us now via Skype from Arlington, Virginia. He's a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute, also served as a director of budget and spending for Marco Rubio's presidential campaign, also was a lead architect of Mitt Romney's 10-year deficit reduction plan. And of course, as of late, we've been hearing rumors of Mitt Romney and his possible Senate bid. But just putting all of that aside, first, Brian, on this shutdown, what are the chances? What do you think are the chances that we're going to get a shutdown by this weekend?
I think there's probably a 40% chance we get a shutdown. Usually, I would say there's a 10% chance because Congress plays this game of chicken all the time, and at the end, they always come together. This instance, I would give it a 40% chance because a lot of Democrats feel that the politics are on their side on a shutdown, and that if they don't get everything they want on immigration, they believe that they can take that hostage and win. I wouldn't bet on a shutdown, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay, but what would that shutdown look like exactly? I mean, how catastrophic would it actually be?
A government shutdown doesn't shut down the entire federal government. It shuts down about 1/8 of the budget. Entitlement programs would continue. Social Security benefits would go out. Medicare would continue. Welfare would continue. National security would continue. The national parks would close. Certain grant programs would not be funded to state governments and private organizations. It would definitely cause a lot of upheaval for those who are affected, but most people's government benefits would continue, and the military is not going to go home.
And what happens after that? You know, if in the case, as you say, you know, we've got a 50%, 40% chance of this actually happening on Friday, what would be the process after that?
Well, at a certain point, they're going to come together and they'd reopen the government. I think that in 2013, it took 16 days. And then Congress is right back where they started, trying to figure out how they're going to come to a deal on spending. There's talk of breaking the budget caps by $180 billion over 2 years. There's the Democratic insistence on solving immigration as part of this budget bill. There's a lot of other expiring bills like children's health care that need to be expanded and extended. You know, we're 6 months into the fiscal year, and we're really no closer to solving these problems than we were when we started.
Brian, you seem to be putting more of the blame. You know, you say the Democrats are digging their heels in at this point. I'm just wondering how damaging or at least distracting do you think the president's own behaviour has been in terms of his tweets, the derogatory language that's caused so much controversy and criticism? Do you think that's really been, you know, setting things back in terms of bipartisanship?
Certainly it has. Last week, it looked like there was a bipartisan deal on the table on immigration policy, whereby Democrats would get the protection of the Dreamers from deportation, and Republicans would get stronger border security funding and some changes to immigration rules. However, the anger over the president's comment basically took Democrats off the table. And now they feel like the presidency's back on his heels, the public's on their side, and they feel like they actually have more momentum and they can come back and get more from the president than they would have last week. I think the president's comments have actually set the president's cause back on this and have increased the chances of a government shutdown.
How much do you think, you know, we've been talking a lot about the Democrats. What about the Republicans? Do you think they're going to be able to rally enough to get this done?
It's going to be a challenge. They're going to need in the House almost unanimous Republican support because the Democrats aren't going to go along with keeping the government open, I don't believe. And a lot of conservative Republicans are pretty upset over spending levels. In the Senate, you know, it's just going to be, you need 60 votes in the Senate. You need bipartisan support. So really, if you're a Republican leader, it's tough. You got to keep your entire caucus together and you got to win over nearly a dozen Democrats in the Senate.